MAMI TV miyeng tabiri bakuding mapo loitungong suzatana taramang chari. Council of Higher Secondary Education Lauba 12th ki exam the art stream ki oina 4th position takribi yengkhom sustina mechaniga unabagi tanja ado mayam phumna lawmina si. Lengchinduna laire ngasi ki case yengkhom sustina taramang chari.
Thank you, ma'am.
Luina na ngasi MAMI TV ki maite dagi yengkhom sustina a big congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯍꯥꯟꯕꯁꯤꯗꯤꯀꯣ ꯁꯁꯇꯤꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯅꯗꯤ ꯊꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯦꯟꯅ ꯏꯁꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯡꯁꯤ ꯂꯣꯏ ꯈꯪꯅꯕ ꯉꯥꯛꯇꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯃꯈꯥ ꯇꯥꯅ ꯍꯦꯟꯅ ꯃꯄꯨꯡ ꯐꯥꯅ ꯈꯪꯅꯅꯕꯒꯤꯗꯃꯛꯇ ꯁꯁꯇꯤꯅꯥꯒꯤ ꯂꯩꯐꯝ ꯑꯃꯗꯤ ꯏꯃꯥ ꯕꯕꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯃꯤꯡ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯏꯆꯤꯟ ꯏꯅꯥꯎꯅ ꯀꯌꯥꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯣ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯗ ꯑꯃꯇꯪ ꯇꯥꯛꯑꯝꯁꯦ
ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯡ ꯌꯦꯡꯈꯣꯝ ꯁꯁꯇꯤꯅꯥ ꯃꯦꯛꯂꯤꯅꯦ ꯑꯩ ꯀꯛꯆꯤꯡ ꯃꯌꯥꯏ ꯂꯩꯀꯥꯏ ꯕꯦꯟꯄꯥꯇꯤ ꯄꯔꯦꯡꯗꯒꯤꯅꯦ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯄꯄꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯃꯤꯡ ꯌꯦꯡꯈꯣꯝ ꯁꯨꯃꯣꯔꯖꯤꯠ ꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯃꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯃꯤꯡ ꯌꯦꯡꯈꯣꯝ ꯑꯣꯡꯕꯤ ꯔꯣꯃꯥꯕꯇꯤ ꯗꯦꯕꯤ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ siblings were I'm the first born ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯃꯈꯥꯗ ꯅꯨꯄꯥ ꯌꯥꯏꯃꯕ ꯑꯃ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯅꯨꯄꯤ ꯑꯇꯣꯝꯕꯤ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯩ
ꯄꯨꯟꯅ ꯑꯍꯨꯝ
ꯄꯨꯟꯅ ꯑꯍꯨꯝ
ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯁ꯭ꯀꯨꯂꯤꯡꯁꯤꯅꯅꯦ ꯀꯗꯥꯏ ꯀꯗꯥꯏꯗ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯏ
ꯁ꯭ꯀꯨꯂꯤꯡꯁꯦ ꯑꯩ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁ 1ꯗꯤ ꯄꯤꯌꯥꯔꯗ ꯇꯝꯃꯛꯑꯦ ꯀꯛꯆꯤꯡꯒꯤ ꯄꯤꯌꯥꯔꯗꯒꯤ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁ 2ꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯄꯄꯥꯁꯦ ꯃꯣꯔꯦꯗ ꯖꯠꯁꯀꯤ ꯄꯣꯁꯇꯤꯡ ꯇꯥꯕ ꯃꯔꯝꯅ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯦꯁꯟ ꯇꯧꯔꯦꯕ ꯃꯣꯔꯦꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯣꯔꯦꯒꯤ ꯁꯦꯟ ꯖꯣꯔꯖꯇ ꯇꯝꯃꯛꯑꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁ 3ꯒꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯏ ꯆꯜꯂꯛꯄꯁꯦ ꯑꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯁꯦ I had to transfer to ꯑꯁꯤ ꯋꯥꯡꯈꯩꯒꯤ ꯁꯦꯟ ꯖꯣꯔꯖꯇ and I got 4 days to study for an exam and somehow I ended up being in the 6th rank of the class and that was when I realized that maybe I have some potential towards academic excellence and after thank you ma'am after that I SAM da tamme SAM da tamba loiraga I class 7 sida Tiny Tots to honge Tiny Tots ta I didn't get much time in Tiny Tots COVID laksin giba maram na oraga I didn't get to experience the thrill of being in Tiny Tots completely. Online class ta ayamba na tawgrebo ko. And after Tiny Tots, I chose TZ to complete my 11th and 12th in art stream. Yeah.
ꯑꯗꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯁ꯭ꯀꯨꯜꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯍꯣꯡꯕꯗꯧꯅꯀꯣ ꯑꯁꯤꯗ ꯋꯥꯔꯤꯁꯤꯗ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯁꯁꯇꯤꯅꯥꯒꯤ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯑꯦꯅꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯣꯕ꯭ꯂꯦꯝ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯁ꯭ꯀꯨꯜꯁꯦ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯀꯨꯏꯅ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯦ ꯇꯧꯗꯕꯤꯗ ꯑꯃꯗ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯍꯣꯡ ꯑꯃꯗ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯍꯣꯡ ꯇꯧꯕꯁꯦ ꯁꯝꯋꯥꯠ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯗꯥꯞꯇꯦꯁꯟꯗ ꯀꯔꯤꯗ ꯈꯔ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯣꯕ꯭ꯂꯦꯝ ꯂꯥꯛꯄ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯗꯤꯗ ꯈꯔ ꯗꯤꯁꯇꯔꯕ ꯇꯧꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯁꯤꯝꯇꯪꯒꯁꯨ ꯊꯝꯁꯦ
ꯁ꯭ꯇꯗꯤꯗꯗꯤ ꯗꯤꯁꯇꯔꯕ ꯇꯧꯗꯦ ꯑꯩꯉꯣꯟꯗꯗꯤ but the sorrow of leaving your friend has always haunted me throughout the early stages in a school. Anoba makabagi the first few days, I would miss my old friends ko. But do not about the struggle taude. But I have a tendency to take everything as a chance to learn something new. Aduna the more I come across more people, the more I learn from them. Aduga school kuding maki atmosphere is different oy bako. Aduna atmosphere kuding dagi, environment kuding dagi, I have a tendency to learn new things. So I took each of those school as a lesson in my life and I have created many memorable memories in those schools. So,
yeah, faiko. Hadi thingaruba kudimag to as a part of my life ne haraga experience me ama ko. Hena so gain torong gane hena khali ko. Adi friends sing daga luina bagi mogi mowong mo to moy ki mod sing si so makan khangang gane hena khali ko. Ado sigi hojiki akigi education ki line si da sum chang pu matam da art stream na lawra isi. Adi most of the students ga hadi mo is focused on the science stream room da sum chang le haba. Ado akigi sustina gi oina the art stream da chang ise. Ishana pambagira natragada some hadi kari apambalege.
I say I have always been into humanities and on top of that I have always wanted to be in the judiciary line and I knew that taking art stream would benefit me in the long run ko. Aduna hadi nga haki science la hoda bagi mina judge torakpa adu khandreba. My thought is way ahead of them. So I look at things in the long run ko. Hadi labna sana yengbadadi science lawraga there would be no scope for me because I would be in the judiciary line. Aduna I say arts law. There were people who judged me for that and there were people who judged me for entering TZ too. But I turned a blind eye against them because I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm standing and what I'm headed towards. And that's all that matters to me. I have a tendency to not care about irrelevant things. So if it's going to benefit me in the long run, then I just go for it. I act on it. And that's why I chose TZ and I chose arts because of that. Yeah.
Yes, decision making ama hai tare ka lo bang ami do ya ma ai gi life ta di long run gi da mak ta hai tare ko it's better to choose art stream hana nang na sa gi ma cream lo ngam do adu su yam thagat ni ngai ni hai tare ko as a had student ama oina student as a yam na khoi gi matam da di hai tare thai na da di spoon feeding adi parents gi makha ra yam lei hai ba ko adu hojik da di hadi masa gi khan ba ngam ba gi decision making ama do ba ngam ba gi ta kanu ama se su nang on da gi hadi u ba ngam ko that's very great ko adu khoi gi makha ta na hai tare khoi gi 12th di khoi TZ se nang uniform so as it is adum se la like it's very cute ko yam nu shi ko uniform se la u ba se da ada TZ da khoi gi tamning ba faw se hadi atopa aring ba hojik private ki bi am thole ko adu nang na choice se da lady se as a parents ki choice na thagana nang gi choice la da sim kan tham se
I think it was my choice and my mom always aspired me to be in TZ, but the choice was mine. At the end, I want to choose Tauhaiba. You can either join TZ or join any other school you like. But my mom put forward her preference, though preference to the higher, so she never forced me. She listened to me. I have always been hurt in my family. I give opinions. It always mattered. And it is because I grew up in such a family where I am hurt and I am respected. That's why when I go out of my home, I have a tendency to not settle for the less. When I speak, you need to hear. And when I'm done talking, you talk. That's the kind of thing that happens with my life. I do not sit back and watch when people silence me or suppress me. And maybe that is one reason why I joined TZ. I can have that. Other school, I've seen that spoon feeding yam tawe, notes material yam piyo ko, and it's very restricted. Restriction, I have always been a rebellious soul. I do not confine myself in a small space ko. I do not TZ that the individuality have a malay ko. When I write an answer, I know no other student are going to write the same answer as me. So I individuality compromise to give me am do make up to as a way of telling myself sorry for restricting yourself in the past. Type the apology type I joined TZ. In TZ I found my true self. TZ has played a very important role in shaping the Sustina people know today ko. I say I'm the bold or confidence labor. I give statement pi bangamba adaydi I give vocalize to bangamba mi amo helapa se TZ daw heleba ko. In 11th grade, no one was pushing me to get this mark, that mark to they didn't tell me nang 12th position left to biade ko. They let me grow as an individual hana grow to ko. Nang nasagi individuality do. In 11th grade, you find it. You find your true self. And after that, we'll see what happens. We're not going to force you into anything. And 11th grade, I realized that I na nahandagi, I gi growth ne na kalami so. Growth oram there dreba. Mark pangbo ilayrameba ko. In TZ, I may or may not score mark, but I grew as an individual, as a person in a growth already. That's what mattered to me. And in 11th grade, I found myself completely. I say Karino, I say I'm argumentative, I say I'm not debating skills like, and I have a tendency to be loud and wild. I have to be hurt, personality, I found that in TZ. In other school, I have been restricted, restricted more in a place because of the atmosphere. I have to collect myself in a small space and act according to what people want. But in TZ, I found my voice, I found my personality completely, and I think choosing TZ is one of the best decisions I have made in my life. People were judging me, people belittled me, people had prejudice against me because I am from government school. But those people are not on the list of toppers. We are. we are. So that itself is a statement to them.
Government, private, it depends on
individual
individual. Guideline guideline spoon feeding plus education system more of the students are the parents na tuition culture tuition every time whole 24 hours tuition
fashion bandwagon effect me machado so I have to send mine to there. If the child does not need that, then don't send them to there. Masagi self-study tawagi matam pibigadabneba. Ay tuition amta chalagteba. Ay na need oiba subject ki haidi philosophy gi ko ay home tutor tha ani mo tawe. Aduga economics ki home tutor tha ani. Only when I need it. Aduna tabida culture ama oina establish tawgrava fashion sida follow akoy mama sa ay mama sa bandwagon effect na influence oideba. She asked me, do you need help? If you need help, I'll send you there. If you don't, you study, you know. And it is because I grew up with such a strong woman that I am able to make my own decisions. I'm able to stand my ground. Aduna, tuition and need already. You take your time to study. You take your time to rest. Don't follow this trend. Sige trend sida ko. Don't be swayed by it. Aduga nang na kay gumbat sa hilora kanda nang na need oiba haidi machit mata lay haudraba nang na khange haiduda machit mata lay traba khangna bagida makta like tha amamuki course amamuk chatpa budi yai ko. But other than that haidi trend amamina tawna gre na follow tawbudi don't be blind. Ship kitab the blind following tawbanoba. You voice yourself. If haidi school halaga I see chatpa say ay why ay ngonda emotionally draining or ay ngonda physically draining or hardy. Leave it. Don't do it. Don't do that to yourself. Don't force yourself to do something you do not like. Ado hani.
Light bada yamna akogi outside ki force issue phatte to ishagi oiba philip amasi shu lawba chu haiba darka lai habise asima phajana thambire ko adu subject anadi palle ko subject khadi pangi kanogi philosophy ko adu philosophy se aisha pamji se philosophy se apart from that philosophy na ta ba athai te subject ta ko kanuna khoi ki ngasi fourth position tabi rakhi base sidai sta marking gi hai tare se ta tangjan si ko high marks se karam subject ta phangi hai ba
I philosophy the subject topper or 100 pangaga aduga political science the subject topper or 95 pangaga adu subject topper ani the or aduga they did like 95 above the mind pangaba
they ko marks so laga so sigi subject me de engon de interest we kain hai ba ko this philosophy se nataba kari subject ti
atay subject I subject amata the prejudice te tawdeba I give them fourth subject ki culture se ase I thamjarak deba dido I chose a subject at my own will I na pam ga choose tawgiba subject to I na thai deba I study all of them and I know weak oiba subject kitang weak oiba economics kitang weak oi but I do not blind I do fourth subject or hangradam ne haiba tawdeba I focus on it. I give it as much time as I give the others. That's how things should be. I dinang na tamjiliba subject. It will, you know, serve you in the long run. Aduna kana gadaba gay to deposit gadam ne fourth subject ne na thyroid ne adu to haning.
Subject khudingi kana ba khara khara dum loy lai ba ai na option ba ya ba ko yam chumme adu ngasai gi hai ba na philosophy lo ise isha gi sina pa me na lo ise kari gumba ai objectives am di pandam am di le rangwani dana ai shi oi ge na khallaga lawbani kaina adu kari di oiningi bano hai ba di tungi aim hena ko amadi laini ko aim laitaba mi du di ha di arim bane ba maronda adu aim se kari un lairi bano daga subject sin lawba sina kari no ha du thai
aina philosophy lo is a lawyer a lawyer na the judicial line that's I want to be a judge in the future aduna logic say am important oy ba ko ingonda conclusion draw to bangam bagi kanon sa ability say am important oy ba ingonda aduna in philosophy it teach you about how your thought process should be ko duga conclusion say ta bangam bagi process it philosophy data and in philosophy you are taught both what is emotional so oy batae and very logical in very logical way the emotional or logic lom dagi yengaga taebako. So I think that is one reason why I chose philosophy. And I have always been a fan of philosophers like Charvaka, and I have been a fan of Diogenes, and they inspired me to learn philosophy.
Okay, that's great. ꯑꯩꯅ ꯄꯣꯠ ꯄꯣꯖꯤꯁꯟꯁꯦ ꯇꯥꯈꯤꯕ ꯃꯤꯀꯨꯞꯇ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯈꯟꯖꯔꯨꯕꯗꯨꯃꯛ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯅ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯌꯦꯁ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯩ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠ ꯄꯣꯖꯤꯁꯟꯁꯦ ꯂꯧꯕ ꯉꯝꯃꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯅꯨꯡꯉꯥꯏꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯔꯤꯖꯜ ꯑꯥꯎꯠ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯀꯣ ꯏꯁꯥꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯦ ꯀꯗꯥꯏꯐꯥꯎꯇ ꯂꯩꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯥꯏꯠꯃꯦꯟ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯏꯁꯥꯒꯤ ꯅꯨꯡꯉꯥꯏꯕꯁꯦ ꯀꯗꯥꯏꯐꯥꯎꯇ ꯐꯪꯕ ꯉꯝꯕꯒꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯈꯟꯖꯔꯨꯕꯗꯒꯤ something ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ somewhat down ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯦ ꯀ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯀꯨꯞ ꯑꯗꯨꯁꯨ ꯐꯥꯎꯈꯤꯕ ꯂꯩꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯁꯤꯅ ꯄꯦꯜꯂꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯝꯇꯪꯁꯨ ꯊꯝꯁꯤꯀꯣ
I regret the kemta later. I have never been someone who chases after marks. Aina khangjabado iraga in the journey of learning I somehow got in the list ko. Fourth position tabdi the journey do da aina phangakpa pot neba. I have never been desperate to be on the list ko. If had I been desperate, I chahi hobadagi oja mayam da ko chen I didn't do that. Aduga chahi lorakanda aina machit mata lem hobase. Watra by hangba khakta neba aina chalise. I have never been fallen for this toxic trend of marks ko. Aduna aina khangjaba ibada adugi result aina tamjaruba aina pajagibadugi result oina position lakpani ena khalleba ko. Aduda aina haidi list to the yam thina desperate oina yawning hoba laitabani regret laite aingonda ka hena harauba su laite ko. I'm quite okay with it. I'm at peace with how things have turned out. To mine hiding.
Aduda igna katang nathai ko sustina ragi taning base. And sustina na kumokpa pa kumusing sa tuki mati perfect oy haitare ko. So adi aduna he na haitare akoy da mayam da su ko akoy di lesson naman oy na sum piba yaba oiraga su suggestion oiraga su si tana buda kay su kaidri hadan ay hanga kaduri ni ko. Ada question se kamay da if kay gumba nang na fourth position si su law draba ko any the position amta ho kanu taw draba nangonda just feel ama haibadu urin khalaseba adu nangi thamoida nangi wakhalonda adu kadai bokta nang laikadagi firija kadai bule kadagi da sintanga sa kum batani ko.
I never admit defeat ko. Haidi anything that happened in my life is a lesson to learn ko. Nang na failure na haido failure na haina ura no ba. Think of it as a lesson to learn. I handak fail ora mekalo. I would still have kept going, you know. I would have repeated 12th grade and be better. Aduna every chance, every time you make a mistake, you have to learn from it. You have to tell yourself, I did this, so I have to be better next time. Adumana tawgadabne ko mindset se dumain like gadamne. Aigi phrase ay nayam pambam like don't be bitter, be better. You don't have to be bitter about how things have turned out. You just have to be better, and once you do that you will realize how easy the world is, you know, how differently you will look at the world. Aduna I have always told myself to be better each time. Each day is a chance for you to grow as an individual, not as a topper, not as a aduna taba mark pangbaduna growth nataba. Grow as an individual. Even if you did bad in a test, if you know that you tried your best, that's the win. Aduna don't regret over things. Just tell yourself that, you know, what happened. So let's move forward. Let's not do anything stupid to ourselves. Let's not hurt the people we love. Let's not judge the people who went ahead of us. Let's collect ourselves for a bit, think it through, and act. That's what I want to say.
Okay, wakala niya kajaba sa sinagi ko sige pakum sa duki matik chai hai tare ko adi apina downfall or pumatamda ai gi dream ama kaiba matamda kana gumba ama di thamoi shok padagi magi punsi khudi makse loina bang hai tare ko loina mak udrabagum future udabagum oina khana yeba wakalonda sigumba se ko gi thokna hai tare sustina dagi wahai sina mayam da su hadi chakthokpa pung chakthokpa he na ko gi downfall leiramba sing du su mikap thokpa oisanu hai badu su aina thamjani ko aduga makha tarakpa sidi sustina ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ life ꯑꯃꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ success ꯑꯃ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯛꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯀꯅꯥꯒꯨꯝꯕ XYZ ꯑꯃꯗꯤ ꯁꯣꯏꯗꯅꯃꯛꯀꯤ guide ꯇꯧꯕꯤꯔꯝꯒꯅꯦꯕ directly or indirectly ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯀꯅꯥꯗꯤ ꯁꯁꯤꯅꯥꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯏꯐꯇ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯅꯪꯒꯤ ꯉꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯖꯤꯁꯟꯁꯤꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯃꯇꯦꯡ ꯄꯥꯡꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ guide ꯄꯤꯕꯤꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯅꯨꯡꯁꯤꯅ ꯂꯩꯗꯅ ꯁꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯀꯅꯥ ꯂꯩꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯣ
ꯑꯩꯒꯤ motivating factor di my father. I want to be just like him ko, and if possible better than him. Aduga hujiki journey se aigi papa gumna oining bagi journey se papa oi bagi destination se yong na ba journey se da I bu push taw bi ba de aigi mama ne ba ko. When my father died, my world crumbled, you know, and it felt like the world has, you know, pushed us apart ko. I say pura isolated on a feel taw ba ko. At that moment, there were times I wanted to give up on myself. I wanted to give up on everything. But the person who held my hand and told me, you need to move forward. You cannot give up now. It is because I grew with such a strong mother that I'm able to secure this position, this standing. Aduga, aigi mama say, it is because a widow refused the world to shape her opinions and actions. It is because of that that I am here. Children like us, akoina smile, my pagla is ko. Mama da yam tina depend tawe ko. Aduna, I want to credit my mom. My mom has always been by my side throughout my thick and thin. She never gave up when my father passed away. Her world shattered completely, but she never gave up on herself. She never gave up on me. She never gave up on us. She shielded 3 of us, her children, from all the idle snares of the world. Mina judge tawre mama da ma say I si akoy si buyok pang ngamgadra ngamoydra na man the judgment miyam tawre ba ko haidi angang se semba ngamaroy khotlaroy kaina. But she proved every one of them wrong. And every time I wanted to, you know, give up, I look at her and I think I have to give a statement to the world that my mom is a great mother. She is. So aduna maramoraga duso ay motivating factor mane. And ahan ba de akoy masida pora complete like pinning ever ko credits. I have never met such a strong, resilient, such a stubborn person ko in my life. Aduna akoy papagi ahang ba se asi di kanamta na feel taw nga maroy da ba neba. But apart from that, I wonder, you know, I say sipang de ko hay hawalak de ba yung mama na ko. Aduga like the people who judge her, you know, my thing is now when someone judges your mother or someone judges you, you have to tell yourself, I have to be better than their kids. Nothing throws them off more than being better than their kids. Moy na judge tawr, but every time, like I'm a person who wears makeup, does my hair, does my nail, I di lang ko pasupamil ko. So after my father passed away, I have always been papa's layering so I've always been a loud personality. You know, I have always been wild ko. Adumatam that no one had a problem when father was here. And then after father passed away, everyone, you know, kind of changed. And people who never said a bad thing about me were like, you're too much. I am not too much. Maybe you are just little for me to handle, you know. I'm not too much. I am too much for you because you are weak. Adugi mentality. Ahan ba di papalay tragan sila ko. I became smaller to myself ko. I say migi standard me am the fixed tawang I hotna ba sida. I gi loud oy ba, I gi extroverted oy ba, I gi wild oy ba personality do. Mangsin la evo ko. And then with time I realized that hadi mindset yang wang ba, personality yam lay ba mi amak na ingon da nang wild oy, nang yam too much oy, nang yam loud oy, hierarchy ba like ba. It's always the small-minded people. So I'm like, why should I cater to them? I should cater to the better persons. The people with higher standings, the people with a mindset of their own, the people with a personality, more the cater to badam ne khaleba ko. So now, like in the process, ako'y later consider rediscover pazanata ways ko. Before that, I was very complacent. I knew I would get anything I want ko. Papalay banina, I don't have to earn anything. I can just sit back, ask, and get ko. Adugi mindset to lay ko. But after my dad passed away, I started recollecting myself. You know, I have to grow up. That's what I told myself. And then, like every person who judged me, who judged my mom, I would turn it as a motivation. Oy nako, I have to be better than their kids ko. Dumaina khale, duna. That's so my mom aduga akoy mada phajana pininge akoy mana aingonda don't change for anyone else, don't twist yourself, don't contort yourself into a small standard amada contort tawruno ko nang se nang adum layo haibagi strength to piba na neba inang asisida yam and after that I want to credit my family to ko agi family sing so I want the restrict out de ko aduga they let me grow. They have never been controlling ko aduna family, and I want to credit my teachers, every teacher who has taught me throughout my life ko. As I said, I have never position gi desperate or every person who has taught me something for getting marks at by compromising on myself. I'm a person who I say self-respect. I love myself very much. So every time I do something that is against my thought process, against my moral, I hate myself. Aduna, like the people who let me do what I do best. Adudi tizigi wajaga siya. I want the credit pinning, and then my home tutor philosophy Sir Kennedy duga economics ki Sir Jamie Chan moida su phajana credit pinning, and then I chahi loyakan gi last December da pau na taba male January so haisida aina paba yaba paba lore aise chitha kum thaba laitraba nan thaba laitraba hangba chat pasina NIT Nongin Institute of Tutorials hoi adu yang kuina su chat panate like 1 month so on and off chatle ko aduna Nongin Institute of Tutorials so I adum credit pinning aduga I want to credit my best friend too because she has stayed by me throughout this journey. I met her when I was in 3rd grade and she has stayed ever since that day. She has always been real to me. Her name is Binja, Sograkwan Binja. And she is one of the most selfless person I know. Manda any notes material pangapa, any remotely related to academics ko manda pangbase. She would send me first before reading. She'd be like, you need to learn this, you know. Yeah, it is like there are days where I cannot express myself to my family ko aduga teacher da ay na haidok pa fong do pangam da warakan se. I talked to her and she always stayed by my side. She told me, you know, you cannot give up now, Sastina. You know, when we win this, we're going to win this together.
Adugi wahay say nga sagi markat na ko give up to gano habdo objective habdo si karma matam da hairke ba nang yam na downfall or kan da hairakra amana karma matam da sigi wahay sis mai sizana ka nang say
he has a tendency to remind me my destination destination even when we are talking about anything else he'll be like I'll be talking to her about, you know, joining Lai Harba Tawal Zong Bagi or ba ay di lang ba bamba ni na hay niya ko aduga masina hoy yaw toro aduga hala like poko like that. She's always reminded me to push forward, you know. She's a very like she's a gem she's like a diamond.
And student am ori bani to like so have gi kanu the importance to sumana dum ni jangbi okay very good.
And I isa su ko ay na pamba lang ba khot pa se akoy family na restrict tawdrabani na ko aingonda adu yaw thorani ko midi dugumba kumhaigumba yawraga halakan se wakhan se chai haidana. For me personally adugumba yaw thora halakan sida ko I got the satisfaction I want ko aduna ay halakan sa na you need to learn now. They allowed you to do this now it's time for you to pay them back by doing something by academic excellence ko adugi type I get thought process adumana layeba ko so irang kumay yawraba halakanda I make sure I sit on my desk and study, you know. I bring myself back.
adi student ama oina lari pa basi su main duty ni na aduda dum changjali ne ba mayam ama languraga ko ada marak ta hosgi credit ki kadu da khoi ani yam nushi ba hai tare ko hangjaning ba hai tare khoi papa ga adi expire oga matung da ko expire khoi mama na katang oga su nong do oga su ba khandi dum khara hadi downfall oga mikup ama di yam duine ba madu ki marak tu da hai tare nang na uba as a hadi magi daughter ama oina ko role ama sung hak atu ki du da lorong madrai khale ba ko mama na sondar ba matam da hai di papa na kanu ogra matung da hai tare ko adu si the past tawra matung sida akhoi nang na kamai na takwa handle tawba mikup ka sung yaw gi bra kamai da
very few times adumai tawe ko ahan ba akhoi palai tawa matam da di she was in a mental turmoil, she was in a lot of pain, but after a few days she collected herself and she became a lone warrior ko. She was like, I have 3 kids to raise, I cannot be here messy headed and sitting and crying. I have to take my part haidi agi like hitraba agi puroi basida you know as kai haitare macha sing se same aga serve tawbo oina thok sari ne ba mama da de. So there were few days where she showed her pain to me, but I have been her soldier to cry on once or twice throughout this journey. But other than that, she has handled herself like a warrior. She has been a lone warrior. She never let any other person shape or dictate on her. She make decisions by herself, and then she would come to me and ask, what should we do about this? And then she would listen to me, and then we'll make any decision together. That's the kind of thing that
that's also a part of education in a life ko natra had experience na maram oraga hadi apoi na nungai ba khakta na life the experience fulfill ore haya pote natra awa ba khara su thingna raga
ai gi papa lai khitra ba gi matung da ne ba aina as a person grow lies I became a completely different person. Papa lai that I was complacent, I was lame, I was spoiled, I was cheerful, of course cheerful, and I was very naive, very innocent. And then when Papa passed away, after that people changed very much. People you once thought were good people turned out not so good, and they changed in ways that was way too much for a child to handle. And then I realized that for some people I had only been a currency to get closer to my father aduna I am luna tawe khalamba mi gase oram taba yaure ba aduga. So I was like, now it's me, mom, and my 2 siblings against the world adumai na khalak pa mi kup yawe. And that is one thing that motivates me very much. And after my father passed away, I lost the naivety innocence to lost over cheerfulness lost over but after losing those pieces of myself, I became a rougher, a harder, a better version of myself. And now I laugh with everyone, I smile to everyone, but I am very particular about who are my people. I don't make it seem like I don't like you. You know, I still like you, but like I still have my favorite people kind of vibe.
Okay. Ya wari yam ngai ko ha sasna ko kasi thing na base ad akhoi ki ngasai ki somewhat nang na so ji ka haitari ke jagoi saru ba ni khang de ko thabal chung ni khang de la ba gi yaw ni khang de du su du no focus adum pi hai ri ko ada ngasai ki hoi inkhalak gi matung ina masi gi stage de lan ma di ya pote ba. But how will you manage ko adu gi langtho ro gi mood se kamai to raga akhoi gi lyric to pusalak pa se nang some thought ama haitari ko na sala lak de hes ai se control thongzaba ngambagi ama nonda leibagi ra natraga na as it is mayamna si ai ki bagi ra haibagi ama leidana ko ani shimong da karam boidino
ID is hana decision se adum tawjai ba ko. I know that I get satisfaction I na pam do phangore ko. Now it's time I ngonda khoi parents na freedom pire adu yauro bagi the freedom to give and take ni dana life si de freedom do pira panina I have to pay them back somehow. And that's my thought process. I I tell myself that even if you have done this you have a statement to make to the world. You have to prove some people wrong. Aduna you have to focus on your studies too. You have to handle both. Aduga aina piingay da ko khoi papa na ise legally blonde yang haleba. And aina yang paungi ba Elliwood se ko. She handles academics and fashion, beauty very well ko. And my father always used to tell me, why can't you be the smartest, the prettiest in the room while being the smartest, you know? Aduge. So I have to, I think it's because of that too that I'm able to balance both of them in my life, but do not mind away it.
Makha tarpoina ko sustina de khangni se akhoi ishagi oiba hadi control amadi dum leijaraga phana yamna languraga su phana yamna ju sharuga su ishagi am control ndi leijaraga like the focus ti dum piri pa ngammi ha ko that's better ko yam phai ko adu atopa hadi some student hadi manadi ko mayam ma hadi hoji hoji ki akhoi gi lan gi hai tare ko lan gi khoi gi marak sida akhoi gi mayam se stress leire depressed mayam leire ko even students sing ji like pa bang khangre natra tam ga do mayam ma khoi gi tamba phangdre ko school chapa phangdre mayam issue sho hoji thengneri natra adu sigi hoji amuk makha tare isina kamai tam tang sai gi lan sigi katang free oire e ha kan se kumai harau se amuk thabal da phangi handak se mari mari non stop ne natra adu sigi matang sida di hai tare student khara da di magi ngasai gi nang control tawriba level do atop khara di ngamam da basu yai ha ba ko adu si mak na karai bok da di manghal ko ya ge ha ba se nangi mood oina hai tare to phangdo
kumhai harau yaubase ko ase nasana khangjagadamne ba ai handak chahi se ge academic syllabus se kayamuk losele. If I spend this much time, would I be able to catch up to my peers ko? Adu khanjagadamne ba adu natabida like sumpapa dana adong kumhai harau da chatladi you're destined for failure ko. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to your loved ones. You have to think it through before doing anything. Haidi yaw ka no haiba nate ba, but know yourself first. You have to tell yourself that I'm a student, you know, and I'm in this teenager age. So I have to join this, but I should not compromise on my studies ko. Aduna priority si the education, the pigadam neba ko. Once in a while you can relax yourself and kumaharaw sa yaw ba ko. But your priority should be study, not marks, study.
Yes. Marks depend on the study on the focus paper. And so that the XYZ student amadu the mark development do malay na personality on the ko. That's very good. Yang pajaba pakum hai tare ko. Adu akhoi ki hoji ishana hai tare logi lines the lam jida on the changjani ko. Sustinan adu da lo nata ba hai tare ko. Atopa yamna pajaba hai tare ka no ma piri en khalase ke chances am piri en khalase line amada changna nabagi ko nangi tumgi profession ge ma oina career ge ma oina adu si kan ju da di adu kan du da khoi reject adu taw da as it is nang le people period to the hai tare ko adu da du period le ko ta na na hongdong hongji karam mana phage hai bagi kano amala ka to kamai to
no I have fixed my mind on judiciary line and I'm not going to change that and on top of that I give a pass CJM in Far West or so like I think it is my duty as the firstborn of the family to continue this legacy, relive his legacy and continue it. And I have to be the second generation lawyer and judiciary line. Like I said, I think it's a responsibility that he left for me. And even my name itself is related to this judiciary line. Mamaga papaga discussed taunaraga igiming say Yankhom City, it's a tribute to my forefathers, my ancestors. It is because of them that I exist. Haibagi Yankhom Sina ihan hana place taweba. I don't want to hadi sustina meklini Yankhom haraga thamning deba. They came before me, so they have to be ahead of me. Adina Yankhom se hape. And then sustina comes from the word such, which means truth. My father told me that among the voices of the rich and the wise, be the voice of the truth. Because sometimes the voice of the voiceless can be the loudest if you listen to them. Aduna, inakun ba wise oy ba asing ba lising tholak sano. But moy marak to dagina. Achumba gidamak da khonjal oning ba di ang walak kaneba ko. Aduna adugumba walak laba tangkak to da ko. You have to be their voice. Sineba ina papana ingon da haramise. Look at the world is very cruel now. Aduna truths, the voices of the truths have been silenced and suppressed ko. Adugi silenced or aba suppressed or aba konjal thokit raba mayam dugi konjal do tabi ba mi ama oy ko na harame. So I think I would not change even if they give me opportunities ko. And moi adom advice pirax no, people are entitled to their own opinions. I'm going to respect that. Hoy hoy hara tabira lora ko. And you at the end of the day come back home and think to yourself, you know, you want to be this, don't change it because of people's opinion. You are entitled to your opinion too. They are entitled to theirs. You are entitled to yours. So give priority to your opinion.
Shagi opinion long hibudo. Maduda ekon priority.
Standing the chance.
Hojiki mingi matang si yam bazari hai tare ko. Adu makna ding si ekoi sustina na hai tare ko. Yam na chauba awang mo phang pak patak ta lepa phang ni se hai tare ko. Ming duna imana baba na thudam ba hai base. Yam na wakhan lai na tholam baduna maram oiraga ne ha ba akoi good way good part akoi polo thoro chat ngam ni se ko.
Aduga papa na McLean se so hapa me ko. McLean has caused a lot of confusion to people. Nang se mai tay kay no ka hangak pa siya ko.
Foreign gi kanu mas yaw ko.
Aduda haidi my father wanted my name to reflect my origins and my roots ko. After going to great heights, after achieving great success, there may be days where I forget where I come from ko. Adugumba matam duda. You tell yourself, I am Yankum Sustina McLean. McLean has a Siro Liligi, botanical name Lilia McLean. They look topaneva. So what better explains Manipur than a native flower ko? Aduna, miyama na ay giming korok pumatamda ko. I would be constantly reminded of my homeland, my origins, my place where my heart lies ko. Aduna ay giming se asida. It says a lot about me. It says a lot about my parents, how they plant me, how they raised me. And my father also told me that when it blooms, short period bloom people go to see it. Aduna, the only difference you have to make is bloom longer than silver lily.
Yes.
And when you do that, attract attention. Have an identity of your own. Me attract tawba. Command attention, command tawba. Ngamba. Me amo oyo. Nupi amo oyo. Don't be any person who lays around, don't have an identity, doesn't have an aim. Adugumba oyo no ba. When you bloom, attract attention, have an identity, be recognizable. Be different, be peculiar, be unique. Don't change yourself for anyone. That's the advice he gave me.
Pajaba mo te ko atuda hojiki ekagi students sina ko changjala iba lambien sida so moi da so aduki matik thonga pigadaba ko mayama ma ko motivate tawba hetare ko ngasi kanosta sustina dagi ko phangba ngamme haitare ko mayam da su hena chakhatpu oishenu aduga anoba firep mayama ma ko achumbagi damak ta ngasagi truth haibdo ko adugi damak ta lawba su ngam chano haidana ko side dagi haizari ko aduga ko sustina da ai khatang ai responsible hai tare ko pushala kan da responsible se ko family da su as a hai tare daughter ama oina su nang kan to re ko aru ichin ni nang ma ta su hadi somewhat responsible puba gi kan no ma su yaw nganin khale ko masi gi marak sida education se sida to ba yai na thagana mapan to ba yai ko adu da responsibility se nang thadu order na thaga nang gi mapan da ko life putam makha tam thagi ninga ga su sida ninga ga su ko ada ga sa gi profession sida he na focus pigi na khan ba karam bane na khali na thaga board
like I say balance to work ngamba ni na I have balance this kumai jagoy mayam siga study ka so balance to bangam grabani na I think family I should give priority as much as I do study ko ani mag se balance to gane ba ko so I would check in on them every night. Maybe I would call them and ask kya hal chal ko and then I think I would prioritize both of them. Both of them needs my priority ko. Aduga I give families everything I'm doing now is for them. If along the journey I end up neglecting them and losing them, then what's the use? You know, I may achieve great success and then come home and find it empty. And I don't want to do that. I want to achieve success, come home to my family smiling and laughing. That's what I aspire in life.
Sustain are mo hang chimeng bese ko akogi hojiki education system desu hai tare ko akogi thai na gina akogi discipline amaga loinaraga haitare ko education system sida fajana chatlame ro hojikina only marking gi oigadori bra natragana akhoi magi system sida kaithara pagira khangde khena bade aduki chawna mate akhoi uba phangi haba ko sigi matang sida sustina na de kari mot phong dok ni sitanga
Hanadi, growing as a student and growing as an individual simultaneously synonymous for oramineba. Education si the taxi khasi loina like yaw na taameba ko. Now it has changed ko. Huzikti education is all about marks and numbers. That should not be the case. Hadi students sing si the moida standard ama pizin greba marks yam phangadi nang se dunya sina respect tawradam ne haidana. Along the journey, they end up losing themselves. Mark to dang pangnaba hotnaba da ko. Mo se taxi khasi mangthare self-respect for mangthare ko. Aduna, I think the problem is in the education system too, very much. Aduna, it is because of this priority to marks and numbers, as a result of which high tuition amuk chat kani family time agi society ga bon tawnaba matam lairakta se agi ahal laman ga bon tawnaba matam lairakta se asina sumaram oiraga respect lairakta thaksi khasi khangakta se oibani
sustina makata ko se de khoi aina nong dem khangjani ni se ko akhoi education ki system se si khakna haitare semdu ga yagadra atopa akhoi side ki da akhoi parenting haibam su leidana ko parenting si da so akhoi moida semdok kada ba haitare ko adu machak machan khara samna harabada akhoi macha sinda akhoi jana ma caring lawrpa matam da macha sing de phana bo hona pa matam da akhoi parenting sina akhoi bur piba ko natragana phajana honaro haiba matam sida hona haning na bagi lakna ba matam sida akhoi mayam dagi nasuna manaba sing sida ki mikok thongba oiro hena makok thong hadi friend amagi kanu napam base sigi mauta instead ko adi mayam dagi mikok thongba oiro ka haibagi wahai se masigi season na basna hena akoina hena phani ka haibagi ka suggestion khara haitar ko nagi opinion oina kari kari di oiba yai kamaina hena phajaba oiga dagi ba sum thamse
parents oigera halaman oigera moina namanaba mayamdagi mikok thongo haibadudadi I don't see any problem there. But I think the problem comes when they use words like mi machadi adu tawnagre nang kaidawrige ko adumain tawdo angang du da dimin yam taweba ko aduga toxic yam oiba competition amaso ko comparison tawruba namaram oiraga tawhale instead of saying that why not say something like you do your best, you be the best version of yourself, don't chase after marks or anything, be the best version of yourself. Along the journey you may achieve success ko haidi marks ke piche mat bago success ke piche bago ko adugi ako adugi journey du da ko aduda nangse kainom orak pa ba success phangakane ba ko aduna marks kumba or comparison tawano just be the best version of yourself, be yourself but better each day, and along the journey success is to come ko adum laksaga dabne ba ko aduna parenting na so angang sing se the compare yam tawbigano stress yam pibigano pressure yam pibigano ba ko haidi aina angang oy ngai da notice ama taweba chaka pan ba gari se san na cha haningene na nammaga in ba se chaka do na te aga to eba han na cha lamba du da sungcha chat pangamakte ba ko aduna think of your child as that chaka pan ba gari ko adugi gari dune khanbiyo ba don't pressure it too much, it would not move, just give it a gentle push, it would move mana move taw bangamba distance to move taw jasano, don't pressure them too much, don't force them into anything
instead of the car will break off
adumaina nangi child so ko nangi nang nanusira haiba nangi na chado so pressure do na maram oraga they may end up breaking themselves, they may end up losing themselves, they may end up giving up on themselves and the world. Don't let that happen to the kid.
ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯄꯨꯟꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯥꯏ ꯄꯥꯛꯄꯁꯨ ꯑꯣꯏꯌꯨꯀꯣ ꯍꯦꯟꯅ ꯃꯥꯏ ꯄꯥꯛꯄ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯈꯨꯗꯤꯡꯃꯛꯇ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯅꯤꯡꯍꯟꯅꯕ ꯂꯩꯇꯕ ꯑꯣꯏꯌꯨꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯉꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯊꯧꯔꯝꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯁꯁꯇꯤꯅꯥꯒ ꯎꯅꯔꯨꯕꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯄꯨꯡ ꯐꯥꯔꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ journey haitare ko akogi position lawbu matamda not only haitare aigi education gi khakta nataba magi wakhalon chi kadai pawbanu haibasu akogi ngasi gi haite thorum sina mapung phabu ohinglang tra haitare mayam da akogi thamjari ko ado mayam su akogi sustina gi damakta akogi prayer tawbiu atuga ngasai gi ꯇꯨꯡꯒꯤꯗꯃꯛꯇꯁꯨ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯁꯆꯤꯅꯥꯅ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯕ ꯌꯥꯕ ꯈꯨꯗꯤꯡꯃꯛꯁꯨ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯔꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯒꯤꯗꯃꯛꯇ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯆꯧꯕ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯑꯃ ꯄꯨꯔꯛꯅꯕ ꯃꯥꯏ ꯄꯥꯛꯄ ꯑꯃ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ
Thank you, ma'am.
ꯄꯨꯔꯛꯄꯁꯨ ꯑꯣꯏꯌꯨ
Thank you,
ꯍꯥꯏꯖꯔꯒ
ma'am.
ꯃꯇꯥꯡ ꯑꯁꯤꯗ ꯁꯆꯤꯅꯥꯕꯨ ꯍꯥꯏꯅꯤꯡꯉꯥꯏ ꯂꯩꯇꯅ ꯊꯥꯒꯠꯆꯔꯤ
Thank you, ma'am.
ꯂꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯣꯏꯅꯅ ꯊꯧꯔꯝ ꯃꯤꯠꯌꯦꯡ ꯇꯥꯕꯤꯔꯤꯕ ꯈꯨꯗꯤꯡꯃꯛꯄꯨꯁꯨ ꯂꯣꯏꯊꯨꯡ ꯁꯨꯖꯥꯇꯥꯅ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯍꯟꯅ ꯏꯀꯣꯛ ꯅꯝꯖꯔꯤ